Hello, Chris Groff here. I am a teacher at KSAT. It stands for Kruger School of Applied Technologies in San Antonio, Texas. Today we're going to be studying about the Ocean Modifier. We're going to create an ocean with waves and simulate it. Okay. So basically what you want to do is open up Blender. You need to have Blender 2.61 or higher for this. We're going to use the default cube, so just make sure it's selected. You're going to click on this little wrench, which is the object modifiers, and under add modifier you're going to select ocean. And basically I'm going to walk you through all these little setups here so we can get what we want. For repeat X1 and repeat Y1, basically it adds to the X and the Y axis. We're going to leave those both at 1. Under resolution, basically the resolution, the higher it is, the more realistic looking the water will be. And also with that, the longer the render time, depending on how good your computer is. So you want to keep that in mind. A resolution of 16 will give you a 256 by 256 pixel image. We're going to set ours to 20. And if you're watching at home, basically you know what kind of computer you have. Don't go too high. If you do, you'll find out pretty quick because your computer will freeze up and it'll run really slow. Under choppiness, that is part of the waves. Choppiness is the choppiness of the wave peaks. So at 0, the choppiness is only up or down on the z-axis. And as the value increases, that means that the choppiness goes to more of the X and the Y as well as the Z axis. So it's more spread out. We're going to set the choppiness at 2 for this tutorial. Scale. Scale is the control for the amplitude of the wave. So it approximates the height and depth of the wave above and below 0. Scale is 4. And as I'm doing this, you can see how it changes. Feel free, if you're not in my class, well, if you're in my class as well, you can change these a little bit. Okay, I wouldn't stray too far from these values though. Time. Under time, we're going to be using this to animate the motion of the ocean. Okay, so we need to insert keyframes and time values. And this, it's basically the speed in which the time value is changing that will determine the speed and the wave animation. Okay, so under time up here, basically you want to make sure you're at frame 1, and then for time we are going to set the value to 0. And then we need to insert our keyframe. So in order to do that, you just hover your cursor over the time right here and then press I, and as you do that it'll change to yellow, and you'll see down here on the timeline that under frame 1 it is now yellow, indicating that we have set a keyframe. So we're setting 2 keyframes. The first one's at frame 1, which we just did, and then we're going to go to frame 250 and we're going to adjust the time to 5. And you want to keep your cursor on where it says time and then press I, and that'll insert another keyframe. And go to frame 1 and hit Alt A, and you can watch your animation. Okay, and as you're watching it, you'll see that the frames are going through right here, and you can see that your waves are starting to move. And You can watch it as long as you want. I'm going to move on. Alright, so once you have that, we're going to add a material to our waves. So you're going to click on the little globe, the material button. Alright, and this is going to be the materials for our waves. So under diffuse, you want to left click right here and click on where it says hex. This is our hexadecimal code. We're going to type in 143649, and that will give us a nice blue color for our ocean. You want to scroll down. Under specular, we're going to change the intensity to 0.2. And then under where it says mirror, you're going to check mirror, and for reflectivity we're going to set that to 0.1. Next, you want to go to the render button. That's the little camera, and we're not going to render out yet. We are going to go to where it says shading, and you want to make sure that ray tracing is checked if it isn't. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a sun lamp. So you're going to go to add lamp, select sun, and then use your blue arrow to increase it here. And basically, if your cursor's not there, you could do something like select the camera and then add it. Okay, so you want to put your sun in there, and then go ahead and hit F12 and let it render. This will render out the scene. And when you render out the scene, you should get something that looks like this. You should be able to start seeing the waves and the texture of the waves. Next, make sure your sun lamp is selected, and you're going to go to Object Data, which is the one that looks like a little sun. And once you have that selected, you're going to go under Sky and Atmosphere, and you want to check Sky, and then go ahead and hit F12 again and take another look at your render. And when we do that, we can see more shadows. It looks a little more realistic. Different shadings on the water. Okay. So once you're at this point, let's go ahead and save our project. Go to File, Save As. If you are in my class, you're going to go to the 506. Go to your period, go to your folder, and in your Blender folder, let's go ahead and save this as ocean.blend. And that'll be it for part 1.